What are the biggest obstacles that get in the way of behaving truly long term?
How much time do you have? I mean, that's the greatest question. It's probably the most fun for me to answer, but it's a big question with a long answer. Most of the elements of human nature are designed to prevent us from being good investors. When things are going well, the economy is performing well, companies are reporting record earnings, the stock prices are rising, people get more excited and they want to buy more of something until it reaches an apogee at which they want to buy everything. When things go poorly and the news is bleak and the prices are cascading downward, they lose heart, they want to sell, and when we approach what might eventually turn out to be the bottom, they want to sell everything. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the opposite of what you should do. You should buy low and sell high, not buy high and sell low. But it's against human nature. And if you get depressed and your enthusiasm for selling increases as prices fall, isn't that the opposite of what we do in every other walk of life? In every other walk of life, we buy more when things go on sale. In the markets, we sell more when things go on sale. So this just indicates the essentially wrong nature of investor sentiment. And then again, we have the nonlinear, what we call the nonlinear utility function. Most people care a little about a dollar made and a lost. Exposing yourself to the risk of loss is integral in trying to have a good investment return. So, even though our investment philosophy stresses risk control, we're not talking about risk avoidance. We're talking about intelligent bearing of risk, but people's psyches are warped to prevent them from viewing risk objectively. You have to take some risk in order to make money. So that's another problem. So investor psychology, human nature. Mm-hmm. Then we have something called institutional constraints. So if your job is, if you're an employee, what we call an agent, and your job is to manage somebody else's money, what is your payoff structure? You make a good investment decision, you get a pat on the back, handshake, maybe a raise. Make a bad investment decision, you get fired. So that means that your incentives are directed more at avoiding losses than at achieving gains. And maybe to an extent which has a negative impact. So you have to overcome the institutional constraints. Dave Swenson, who ran the endowment at Yale with great success from 85 to 2020, said that investment management requires non-institutional behavior from institutions, establishing a conundrum that is not easily resolved. And how can institutional employees, agents, act as contrarians, act as knowing bearers of risk for profit? And how can they increase their ardor for buying as prices fall rather than as they rise? Then the third factor, in addition to investor psychology and institutional constraints, is volatility. Mm-hmm. And when prices fluctuate, especially agents, but even principals get uncomfortable. And so in the investment industry as a whole, there has grown up over the last 50 years, since I attended University of Chicago, a concept which was developed at University of Chicago, which is that volatility is risk and volatility is to be avoided. And I think that seeing prices fluctuate up and down is part of life. It's not a negative in itself. It's not to be avoided in itself. And if you are well-funded, you don't have to withdraw the money. You can't get a sell order from your clients, then volatility in itself is not to be avoided. And I think that the excessive nature of the concern with interim volatility is one of the wrongest things about the investment profession. Buffett again. Buffett says, I'd rather have a lumpy 15% return than a smooth 12. And I would say to people, if you'd rather have a smooth 12 than a lumpy 15, you have to ask yourself what's going on.
Look, it reminds me one of the memo you wrote in, I think, late 2022 called What Really Matters.
Yeah.
There you gave the example as a kid, how we are told, don't just sit there, do something.
Yeah.
And in investing, actually, probably we got to reverse that.
Well, I wrote that memo in October of 22 because, I participated in a conference where everybody's question was, well, what month will the Fed stop raising interest rates? And I said, why do you care? This doesn't matter. What matters is whether we buy pieces of companies that grow in value and whether we lend money to companies that pay us back. And what month the Fed is going to stop cutting interest rates, or whether security prices rose by 1% yesterday or fell, doesn't matter. And yet these latter two things are the things that command attention. And that's largely because the things that really matter are determined in the long run. And once you make your commitment, you have to wait a long time to know if you were right. You have to sit there and not do something.